So Hulu has dropped another movie out of nowhere. For this one, we knew pretty much nothing about until within the last month.
I knew nothing about it, and then you told me something about it today
Yeah.
that I had no idea.
So, okay. This is from writer-director Brian Duffield, which is a name that I definitely will be keeping a watch on. I would already have been doing that had I realized how much this guy had done. I knew that he was the director of Spontaneous, which was a huge surprise hit for me a couple years back. I was a massive fan of that film when it came out back in 2020. And then I looked into his filmography, and as a writer, he wrote Love and Monsters, which is a really cool, fun monster film.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of family friendly, but super cool.
Super, super cool.
He wrote The Babysitter, which is just awesome. An excellent horror comedy on Netflix. He wrote Underwater, which is awesome.
Wow, yeah.
And so just those things, if I knew he also wrote all those, my excitement level would have been even higher. My expectation levels would have been even higher.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you right now, my expectations would have been surpassed even knowing all of that.
Yeah.
Because this film rules.
It does.
This
it's
film
really awesome.
Is fantastic. Hulu has brought us once again, for the second time in 2 years, another kick-ass alien versus badass chick movie.
Yeah.
Obviously with last year's Prey, which I loved.
Me too.
We also have now No One Will Save You. Now, I'll give a very brief synopsis like we get in the trailer.
Yeah.
Then we'll talk a bit about it, and then I'll tell you more if you want to know it. But if you want to go in blind, do so. It's awesome.
It's a huge recommendation.
Yes.
Yeah.
But if you want to know what the plot is, it is about a woman played by Caitlin Dever, who some people would know from like Dope Sick, or she's in Booksmart or whatever. But how I know her is she is the voice and the actress who plays Cassie in Uncharted 4, A Thief's End.
That's really cool.
It's very cool to see her because, you know, she looks like Cassie. Yeah. Anyway, she's fantastic in this, like super excellent. And I will get into another reason why later, because I don't want to spoil that yet. But for some people, that might be impertinent information. I don't know. But I'll save that for the end, just so that we can avoid mild spoilers. They're not, but they are kind of, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Okay. Which was ruined for me before I went in, by the way. Everybody's mentioning that.
I see.
But I'm trying not to. Okay, so as far as the plot synopsis goes, we've got our woman here, and essentially it's, you know, an alien home invasion movie.
Yeah.
Right? And the trailer sells it as that. And if you saw the trailer and you think you know what this movie is, you are wrong.
Yeah.
Because the trailer shows you stuff from only about the first 20 minutes of the movie. Okay? So just so you know, this movie takes some turns. It's definitely different than you would expect from this. If you think it's just going to be what you saw in the trailer, you would be mistaken. So what did you think?
I love this film. I think it's phenomenal. I was so blown away and like impressed by it, and I think that I mean, I don't want to. It's hard to talk about in some ways without spoilers, but there's a lot of really great emotional stuff that's explored, and there's also a lot of creativity with the story and how it progresses, and just like different elements that come into play that you're like, whoa, that's happening now, like what? And it's also really scary. I think that there's a lot of like the design of the aliens, I will say, is probably one of my favorite alien designs I've seen. There's some parts that are like kind of traditional alien, like gray alien looking, but then there's other things that I just have never seen before, and I really love that
Yeah.
because it just gives them. It's really really cool. But I think yeah, her performance is fantastic.
Yeah.
I was super impressed with it, and I just think it's shot really well, and
Yes.
I love the ending. I think the ending is really powerful, and I like that there's a few ways that it could, be interpreted, and it's just awesome.
Yeah. I think that, you know, I do think that the ending is going to throw some people big time. And I don't think that's going to land for everybody, even people who are super into this movie. I think it's going to be like 50-50. I really do.
Mm.
And so be warned on that. If you're somebody who doesn't like, and if you're somebody who wants an ending to make perfect sense
Mm-hmm.
and to kind of follow a traditional like path, then this one might piss you off.
Yeah.
I was totally on board with it.
Yeah.
And I think that this is the kind of movie that's going to spark discussion and debate for years to come, but in a good way.
Mm.
Of course, the people who are going to suck in that equation, it's always going to be in a bad way for them because they suck. But for the people who like to have like intelligent debates and conversations about film,
Yeah.
I think this is going to be a really, really cool one to dissect and discuss and to interpret. And that is exciting because this is the kind of film that could so easily be throwaway popcorn entertainment.
Mm.
Just woman versus alien in a house. And that could be very effective.
Sure.
That could totally work. And that could also be great. But to elevate it to this next level, to bring in these emotional stakes, to bring in ambiguity, to bring in a conversation starter, to bring in so much raw emotion,
Mm-hmm.
to bring in these very cool, unique ideals, spins on things, right? All of this genuinely, like, the thing with this film that really impressed me, not only is the acting excellent, not only is the score, the premise, the execution, all that stuff, but it's how genuinely like unique this film actually felt.
Yeah.
When it's kind of going through tropes.
Sure.
And making them feel very unique to this film.
Yeah.
And there was so much ingenuity in this film for me.
Yeah.
That I was like, whoa, that's cool. Oh wow, that's awesome. Oh wow, I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's new. That's cool. That's a new spin on that thing.
Yeah.
Right? This is how we've talked about this on the channel 100 times. If you're gonna do something that's been done to death, break it, reinvent it, make it your own, improve upon it. And this movie does it in spades everywhere.
I agree.
And never one time am I annoyed with characters. I'm never like questioning logic here and there. There's emotional stuff where some people might not be able to fully embrace what's going on, so they might be mad at a character for doing something because they're like, why aren't they just doing this?
Yeah.
It makes perfect sense emotionally.
Yeah, it does.
Right? For the character. So none of that stuff ever bothered me in this film. It's crazy. Like, there's been a lot of really cool alien abduction, alien haunted house, kind of movies, right? Like A Dark Skies, like A Fire in the Sky, like, whatever. This might be my favorite of any of I've ever seen.
This is like really up there for me on as far as alien movies go too, like, because there's so much of it that I love, and especially the emotional element I think is just like so powerful and so well like utilized in the alien subgenre that I mean it is, I guess it is used in some other films too, because there's always that like human emotions are different than aliens and like, well, they're studying us or whatever, so like there's always that kind of dichotomy, but I just thought it was very powerful in this one. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So obviously a massive recommendation.
Yeah.
I am going to talk about one more thing. This is the spoiler thing I didn't want to forget about. So if you don't want to hear this, please turn it off. Don't blame me that I told you something you shouldn't have known or whatever. It's not a spoiler exactly.
Yeah.
It is something that a lot of people, you probably hear it if someone talks about it.
It's a film element.
It's an element of the
Yeah.
film. It's not a plot thing. So, okay, you've been warned. But I do want to mention it for a reason. So the film has almost no dialogue. Like, I think 5 words are spoken in the entire film. This, to me, is one of those stylistic choices where it could make or break the film in a lot of ways. But what I respect about it is not only the decision to do it, because you know you're trying to tell this story in this certain way, and this is the emotions, and you want to capture it in this way, and you want it to be like almost like a quiet place where everything is really hush, and it amplifies the tension, ramps things up. But also, it's a testament. That's what I think is why I wanted to mention this the most. It's a testament to the quality of filmmaking, both behind and in front of the camera. That is why I had to mention it here, is because we've watched, I mean, shit, I watched a movie today. Dreadful film. And the characters, the emotion, the plot, all of that stuff, dreadful all around. They had every aspect of film at their fingertips if they wanted to play with it and do whatever. It doesn't matter what the movie is. I don't care. I'm not even going to mention the title right now. It doesn't matter. It's not the point. The point is that they had all this dialogue and so many characters to go between, because 99% of this movie is one person versus aliens and no dialogue.
Yeah.
To make that work as effectively as they did is a triumph, because you have movies where you have 10 characters, you have tons of dialogue, and I connected to this chick 1,000 times more than I do to characters who can articulate exactly what they're feeling and their emotions. I read this girl's emotions. I read every scene through her performance and the way the camera captured it. The way that the camera and her work symbiotically with one another in order to convey exactly what I needed, and for me to connect this very deep, emotionally rich story with no dialogue is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
So that, to me, it's like I have to bring it up. So I saved it for the end, so I wouldn't ruin that for somebody, but it's so important to the success of this film.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's fun to go in without knowing that, but I know that some people like are not fans of films that don't have dialogue or that are
And that's
quiet.
another
So
reason.
it is also good to know if you are one of those people. But yeah, it's everything that you said, really. Like, it shows the talent on both sides of the camera, and it's fantastic.
Yeah. So superb, excellent. Might be my favorite film of the year. We'll see. I'm a huge fan of this one, massively. But mark my words, this movie will be criticized for the ending and will be one of the main films that is talked about as the overrated film of the year. You watch. Mark my words. But the defenders of this, the lovers of this, will be super high on it. I do think this is going to be a bit of a split. I think more people will be on the side of liking this because it is so tight and it is so like thrilling.
Yeah.
And as I said, it's tight. It's super tight. There's like no filler, all killer. Yeah. So it you know, you don't really have anything to complain about in that way. One aspect I could see, and I have this problem, it's very minor. It's like a gripe of gripes, but there's some CGI that's not amazing in here.
I didn't have any problems.
Yeah, there's some.
Anything.
There's some. It doesn't matter. It's so minor, I couldn't give a shit. But a lot of it is CG. A lot of it is not practical. But with this film, it makes sense for
Yeah, it
what's happening
does.
in it. It's like, I don't know how you can do this practically. So I'm fine with it being CG. I just think that that might be a complaint. The ending will be a complaint for people who just
Mm.
want spoon-fed, traditional, classic
Yeah.
endings and
Well,
don't want to
sure. Yeah.
think at all or have any discussions. I have my theories,
Yeah.
right? We discussed them a little bit, but yeah, I'm telling you, this one's gonna be a split more in the favor of liking, but there's gonna be some hard deniers of this one.
Mm.
They're coming. They're coming hard. You watch. So that's that. Anything more to say on this one?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you don't have Hulu, you can get it in a bundle with Disney Plus for pretty cheap. It will come with commercials, but you can tack it onto your Disney Plus, and it really doesn't up your Disney Plus much. I know a lot of people have Disney Plus. So if you have that, you don't just have to get Hulu on its own. You can bundle it with Disney Plus, and it only goes up like a couple bucks a month.
Mm.
So it's like it's pretty affordable when you tack it onto Disney Plus. Just an FYI for anybody who might want to pick up Hulu for like a month or something to check this out. If you're going to do that, definitely watch Fresh,
Yeah.
Prey, This,
And
and
Clock.
Clock.
Yeah.
Those are the Hulu originals that I definitely recommend the hell out of. I think Into the Dark has like an episode that I really liked, but I can't remember which one it is off the top of my head. There was 24 of them. They're all feature-length films, and there was one I quite liked, and all the rest are like, eh. So, but there's stuff on Hulu. Let us know if you watch it. You should.
Yes, you
Please
should.
watch it. It is PG-13. I don't know if that matters to you, but this movie had no reason to be R in any way, shape, or form.
It was super effective as a PG-13 movie.
But it kills.
Yeah.
And you should watch it. Let us know if you do.